60 laps to go, less than 100 miles at Homestead. Mark Martin 17th, Johnson 19th, Earnhardt Jr. 20th, Gordon 21st, Kurt Busch 22nd, and Rusty Wallace the race leader.
McMurray right behind him. Jamie McMurray in the 42.
Now, if this thing goes green flag from here to the end at 267, some cars will run out of fuel. Everyone will not make it.
Rusty Wallace has never finished better than 12th at this racetrack before. One win this season, Martinsville, Virginia, back in the spring. Now Tony Stewart, 3 wide.
Man, he's been doing that for the past 25, 30 laps.
Well, remember that black flag penalty. There's probably a little driving in
He's
anger.
on a mission. Yeah. He is on a mission.
Tony's in 9th, and he's trying to take 8th from John Andretti.
And here these guys, teammates racing again, all 3 of them.
Hey, they got by Mark Martin.
Yes, they did.
And Sterling Marlin in that black 40 car.
Jeff is going to make it 3 wide down there.
He hangs in there.
Ooh. And the 48's up high.
And Johnson's even higher.
I don't think I'd want to be up there either.
Yo, look at this.
And here comes Kurt Busch going by Ken Schrader in the 49 car.
That is some hard racing right there. These guys know what they have to do right now.
It's going to be for about 16th place with Gordon and Johnson side by side. It is 16th and 17th.
Gordon trying him on the bottom again. Just can't do it.
And remember that Jeff has to finish in front of Jimmy, because he started the day behind him by 3 points, and he loses the tiebreaker if he only finishes 1 spot in front of him, so he's got to finish a couple ahead of him if they're this far back in the pack.
I think Jimmy's had the better car most of the day. He just hasn't been able to show it because he's been in traffic all day long.
Jimmy closes the front.
Oh, very loose there. Very loose.
Here comes Jeff.
And that's all it took for Jeff to get at least beside him.
Johnson decided to follow John Andretti in the 14 car through the corner, and he had to slow up a little bit. When he did, Gordon just drove up on the inside. Now Johnson drives to the inside as Rick Hendrick watches his car go down in turn 1.
There's a lot of trust between drivers right here to be able to race each other this hard, this close. You got to trust who you're driving with.
I mean, these are 2 cars that work in the same building.
Oh, Johnson decided not to take it 3 wide, and Gordon takes a spot away from Jimmy.
And John Andretti.
Martin taking a look. Yep, underneath Jimmy Johnson. He's got the spot too. You want to be on the inside. 24 is driving away from him, Matty.
Both Chad Canales and Robbie Loomis were joking around today saying if either the 24 or 48 teams wins this championship, both teams, because they are one team together, will stay over and celebrate. Robbie put on sticker, meaning brand new tires, because this weekend a lot of drivers have said sticker tires make the car more free, and that's exactly what Jeff needs to make this run for the championship.
Jeff Gordon's next car to pass will be that 25 of Brian Vickers,
which he gets a lot of help from. Brian just backs out of the throttle and makes the pass easy for Jeff, as they are teammates.
So that one position between he and Jimmy Johnson is going to put Jeff in front of Jimmy in the points, but Kurt Busch is still ahead of them overall. Kurt's running back in 20th spot right now. That's for 15th place, Mark Martin.
Yep, gonna try to take the spot from Jimmy Johnson. Boy, he's right down on the bottom. Mark's car looks pretty good, Marty.
Getting better the longer he runs, Wally. Now, I've never driven a race car, but there's a radio hung open in Mark Martin's crew somewhere. So Mark hears this white noise in his ear, and it's very distracting. It's starting to bother Mark, and I'm sure that's taking his focus away a little bit from what he's having to do in driving the race car.
Yep, you got to either unplug your helmet or turn the radio off, because that is very, very distracting when you're driving a race car. Spotters are important, but you know what? I'd rather do it without a spotter than have that blast into my ear every lap.
And right now, as we watch Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson march forward, Jeff Gordon right now 2 points behind Kurt Busch. 2 points.
Here's Brian Vickers with the move over and waves his teammate Jimmy Johnson by. Now Gordon going to work on Scott Wimmer for 12. What about the leader, Kurt Busch, as far as the championship?
He has been struggling trying to get by these cars, and that didn't help anything there as the 15 and 97 made contact.
He obviously felt the 15 should give him a little bit of room. He's driving pretty aggressive there, Bill.
And if they don't give you room, Wally, what do?
You hit him.
You take it, right? Absolutely. When Kurt Busch left pit road under the last caution, he talked to his crew chief, Jimmy Fetting. Kurt said, I'm done with you guys for today. Jimmy said, just stay out there and get all you can get. He's looking at the inside. Burns.
And going to the inside is Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's been his nemesis today because his car has been so loose. That's one of the reasons why they made that second pit stop under this caution to make sure that the car was not loose, because when you get by those other cars, it gets looser. Now he's in free air, Well,
Kurt Busch passing cars and he's got to get by Earnhardt.
That was big right there.
Yeah,
Those passes
there was
you
a
just
lot
saw.
of cars just in a bunch.
That's right, because he got 2 positions, and that's 6 points.
He got John Andretti and Michael Waltrip in that set of corners. And so that puts Kurt up to 19th place.
That's exactly what he needs to do. He needs to get by these cars and get in some clean air so he can go as he takes the spot from Dale Earnhardt Jr.
That's going to change that.
And that's going to change that, exactly.
That makes it 8 points in front of Jeff Gordon.
Every single spot is so important, right? Every one of these drivers knows it now, too. They've got to drive harder than they've driven all year, these next 47 laps.
Now, Jeff Gordon, all right, let's check on the lead first. Greg Biffle is after Rusty Wallace.
Well, that 2 car has been very, very good, although the 16 has been as good. Marty, can the 16 make it on fuel?
They cannot, BP. They're going to have to pit one more time. Greg came on the radio into the last caution and said, you know what? Our only hope is if we get a caution with 25 to go, get 4 new tires and the fuel we need, that's our only chance to win the race. He's anxious to get to the front because he says, in traffic, this car is just terrible. I can't do anything with it when I'm behind other cars. And you see the trouble he's having passing Rusty Wallace, but he has a faster car.
And that's with every car, Marty, because that's just the way these cars are nowadays. You've got to be out front. You don't want anybody in front of you. If nobody's in front of you, your car works the best it ever will. But when you're in traffic and other cars are disturbing that air around you, they just don't handle as well.
Yeah, Biffle did catch Rusty in a hurry, but that's it. He's kind of stalled out there.
He's losing the nose. He can't turn down. He's trying to turn down underneath Rusty, but that air is being stolen from the front of that car, so he slides up the racetrack.
Now that helps when he can turn under him coming off the corner. He does get some air on the nose of the car. When he's falling directly behind, he's in trouble.
Matt Kenseth bailing out there, letting those cars racing for position go by him. That's a race for 4th and 5th. Ryan Newman, Bobby Labonte, 12 and 18. And also 3rd place, Jamie McMurray in the 42, just ahead of them.
McMurray's been hanging in there.
Kurt Busch has just picked up another spot. He got by Dale Jr. and Brian Vickers.
That puts him up to the 17th position.
And just turned the fastest lap.
Caution flag is out.
That is Jeff Green.
And that was big time engine failure. Saw fire under the cars.
Well, that's what Wallace and Biffle and McMurray and all those guys up front, that's what they needed.
Needed the pace car to come out and slow the field down and let them make up the ground. They were down to those guys out front. But now...
Well, I mean the guys out front that need to stop and get some fresh tires on and put fuel in.
Yeah, pit and get those cars out from in front of them.
Yep.
The question is, who is going to gamble? Who is going to stay on the racetrack and not make that pit stop?
Kurt Busch, that last was the fastest of that. That lap was the fastest for him. So right now he's got a good race car. It's working good. I would be surprised if they came in and made a pit stop.
It's going to be a minute before they can make that decision because pit road is closed. Jeff Green, when you saw him hang a left down off the racetrack, went across that pit exit road. And they want to make sure he didn't drop any oil. Somebody come off a pit road after stop and spin out, leaving the pit road.
But it may be monkey see, monkey do, too.
Yeah.
You know.
He couldn't pay me enough money to have to make some of these decisions. Professional bull riding supposed to be on NBC Sports starting momentarily. Obviously, that will wait until the end of our NASCAR coverage today, but do hope you'll stay with us as the men take on the Beast. It's Mohegan Sun Invitational after NASCAR, and of course after the championship celebration as well.
Those bulls are meaner when they're hungrier anyway, so they can wait a little while.
Is that right?
Yeah.
You've ridden one before, right?
No.
No? Oh, okay.
No.
Me either.
No.
In case you were wondering.
So who's going to pit out of this group?
Ooh, there is a lot of oil on the racetrack.
Yeah, and here's something else to think about too. As some of these guys peel off, that moves Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson and so on up to where it goes from being 3 points per position to 4 points and to 5 points per position. And then it makes the number of cars pad they have to have between themselves and Kurt Busch.
Well, Alan, if Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson don't pit, neither will Kurt Busch pit.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, but that'll move them up in the running order.
Yeah.
And then instead of being 3 points per
right,
spot
4 or
between
5,
them,
yeah.
right. That helps Kurt, I think. Bill?
Hey, Wally, you're dead on. It's going to be monkey see, monkey do, and that doesn't mean what you hear on the radio is exactly what these guys are going to do either.
No, that's
So,
right.
It's a lot of watch the guy in front of you. Okay, you watch the guys behind me. Let's see what happens.
Here they come. Watching for the championship, guys.
And Newman stayed on the racetrack.
Gordon.
Stayed on the racetrack.
Yeah.
Johnson stayed out there.
Martin stayed out. 97 stayed out, so yep. Monkey see, monkey do.
Because those first 5 or 6 in the running order stayed out. Or I mean came in, and so those guys are going to pick up all that track position.
Earnhardt 20th decided, hey, come in and get some tires. He's probably still loose. And that damage on that hood we talked about earlier may have been making that car loose because there's probably more downforce on the front of that car because of the damage.
41 to go are these pit stops. Go ahead, Marty.
Alan, your leader, Rusty Wallace, very happy with the chassis. It'll be 2 tires again, so these left side tires will stay on the 2 car once again. Larry Carter made the call. The car is excellent. He said, keep me up front if you can. Greg Biffle, however, will take 4 tires. They said they hate to give up the track position, but they have no choice on fuel. Dave?
Junior leaves his pit stall. Remember how his car was really loose? They got it tight all right, too tight. Junior really wanted to come back in and fix that. They did. They put 2 right side tires on only.
Okay.
I know what you're thinking. Go ahead, say
You're
it.
going to put 4 on and you'd loosen the car up if you put 4 tires on.
Okay, I didn't know what you were thinking. I'm thinking if you're going to come in and all those other guys stayed on the racetrack anyway, why wouldn't you take the 4 tires?
Yeah.
Not that many guys came down pit road.
Because he didn't get anything on track position by just putting 2 on there.
Yeah, maybe just 1 or 2 cars at most.
BP, any thoughts?
I tell you what,
Go ahead.
they have me thoroughly confused on
Okay,
this
good.
situation.
That makes 3 of us.
I can see the calculator running. It's gonna be interesting.
I mean, they're trying to do, by changing right sides, they're just obviously looking for a track position, thinking that's going to be worth more than anything else.
But they didn't get any track position out of it.
They're still in the middle of the pack. Their best they're going to be is about 15th.
So, they play their lot on 2 tires. Ryan Newman is going to be the new leader. Tony Stewart, remember he of the penalty in driving in anger.
And Stewart's been fast. He's been passing a lot of cars, and that car may be really fast if it gets out front in clean air.
And Dale Jarrett got the lucky dog a while ago, doesn't pit here. He is now running 3rd.
Kevin Harvick now in 4th.
And there's Jeff Gordon up to 5th place. Bill, let's get some thinking from pit road.
Well, I'm going to try and get Jimmy Fenning. I can tell you right off the top, this is the last thing in the world he wants to do right now is talk to us. You stayed out, Jimmy. How's your car? What was your strategy there?
Right now, car's it's pretty good right now. We only got about 15 laps on them tires, so we're going to stay out today and see what happens.
Been a wild day, hasn't it?
It's been a tough one, let me tell you.
Matt?
What a day this has been for you and this team, Robbie.
It's been exciting as can be. You know, this DuPont Racing's done a great job all day. We got the boss here with Mr. Hendrick. Glad to have him. And, you know, this life is a team sport. Just trying to get this thing done and win that championship today.
You stayed out because it's so difficult to pass here, Robbie.
It really is. And the DuPont Chevrolet gets better and better the closer we get to the front. And I just, you know, got a long way to go.
By staying out, Dave, he moves from 11th to 5th.